All righty. So our next session is an exciting moment for us to get out of the tent and hear about all sorts of amazing actions that are going on as we speak. And we know that it's going to be super inspiring for you. Before I get our folks up here, how many of you have posted? Literally 0 hands are up. Have 0 people posted? Because then we are not doing our job. 1. How many people have posted? Hands high. High. Okay. That's like 20% of the room. So, before we go into our next session and into the rest of the afternoon and into this incredible week, we need you to spread the word and take this conversation off the UN campus, around the country, and around the globe. Using the hashtags, hashtag SDG Action Zone, hashtag Act for Global Goals, or Act for how about I get the hashtags right? Hashtag Act for SDGs, and all the hashtags that you already know for People for Planet, but please, please, please just keep the conversation going. And you're really going to be glad that you're ready to do that when you hear the next session. To take us through the next session, is our next speaker ready? Please welcome to the stage the founder of Hashtag Our Stories, Yusuf Omar. He's going to expect a bigger cheer than that. Wait for your mic.
Environmental warriors. Mic?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Did I even need a mic? That's
Yes.
how loud I am. They call you the change makers. They call you environmental activists. They call you global warming warriors. But you guys know something that so many people don't know. That this earth is in trouble and it needs your help. Now, while there is so much deliberation going on inside, discussions, debates, sometimes wasting time, it's here in this zone that we're going to be talking about solutions, that we're going to be talking about answers, that we're going to be talking about the people that are actually making a difference on the ground. The grassroots movements is what we're going to hear about. The Global Week to Act for SDGs is what we're going to be focusing on, and you're going to be hearing some incredibly powerful voices of people that are actually doing good in their communities. So, 4 years ago, 194 world leaders actually agreed on something. They came together and they said, guess what? We can adopt this 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And they came up with these colors and these 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And it was an incredibly ambitious idea that we could have a better world, we could have a more prosperous world where nobody would be left behind. So each September, to mark that occasion and that historic moment, we have this Global Week to Act for SDGs, where people come together and we really solidify that message. And it's important because we need world leaders to remember and to know that while they're having these conversations, there are actually real people that are making a real difference all over the world. And last year, more than 1 million people took part in these actions, in these activations, from 1,243 cities around the world, 142 countries. I have had the opportunity to meet a lot of them in Bonn, Germany, as they arrive every year. We're here today, and we'll be doing the same tomorrow, to highlight just a few of these thousands and thousands of actions that are taking place as part of the 2030 Agenda. So that while the heads of state are doing their thing, we're doing ours. And we're going to start by showing you a little video to give you an idea of what some of those actions actually look like. Whoops, back one.
Gender equality.
Now, of course, you don't have to travel around the world to see the activations that are taking place. You can see a lot of it online. And if I Google Act for SDGs, I come across this map. And this map, oh, you can keep going? if I Google Act for SDGs, there we go. You're going to come across a map, and the map is going to show you activations that are taking place all over the world. I mean, in parts of Nigeria, you've got legal education happening. If we head to Twitter, we can see tons and tons of activations taking place. Did you guys know that we were all over Times Square this week? In the Baltic states, trees were being planted. In Berlin, activations were happening. Across Africa, we've seen people doing good in schools, educating people about the SDGs. We see this happening in the Philippines. I've seen it happen with water, underwater, above water. Head to Instagram, you'll find the same. Beautiful pictures. Pictures around people that are actually creating sustainable food, that are getting together in education facilities. Again, coming back to the Times Square picture. Again, going to the beaches, going to the food. This impacts every capacity of life, and we're seeing it play out all over social media. Hashtag Act for SDGs. And it's not just Instagram. If we head over to Facebook, we'll see the same. Lots and lots of people sharing lots and lots of beautiful stories. The message here is simple. If you guys are part of the SDGs, if you guys are driving innovation, firstly, register it on the website so we can know about it. Secondly, hashtag Act for SDGs on all the platforms so we can see it. This is my Facebook timeline. It's full of amazing stuff that's happening all over the world, and we're going to be hearing from just a few of those people in a moment. So, first up, to tell us about some of the amazing work that she's doing, we're going to go all the way to Peru, and we're going to meet Rosie. Rosie is assembling events, conferences, educating people about the incredible work that's taking place around the Sustainable Development Goals in her region and around the world. Rosie, 3 minutes. Go for it.
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me? Well, so with the Millennials Movement, what we are doing, we are not only activating in one country, we are activating people in 9 countries in the Latin American and the Caribbean region. We are not hosting only conferences, we are going to schools, we are cleaning beaches, we are just taking the public spaces, because that is what we want to see. If we can see the pictures, we can see how not only us, but also our authorities are joining our actions, because what we want to do is we want to humanize the 2030 agenda. We want the youth to take the control. It's more than 28 youth-led organizations in 9 countries who are just going out for what we are supposed to have by 2030. And that is the most important. If we go to the next one, even we have this new project. It's a documentary. A documentary where action is shown as how people feel it. You know, we want to humanize the 2030 agenda by knowing the people who's behind those actions. But it's not only youth advocates. It's also people from the governments and so on. So if we can see just a little piece of the video so you can see how it looks like. And I would like you to join this week of action and keep activating, because this is what we really, really need. Thank you very much.
Okay, for time. All right. Rosie, thank you so much. Just for time constraints, we've got to keep running because this is such a fast-moving session. Things are moving really quickly, but you guys can find Rosie's piece online, am I right? So yeah, there's lots of the places to grab it. Next up, we are going to cross to Julia Sanchez, who is with Civicus, a people's voice movement, really empowering people to share stories, to talk about the SDGs. Julia, can't wait to hear more about it. Let me try and get you another one.
Oh, it's working now.
All right,
yes.
cool.
Okay, thank you. So funnily, I'm also from Peru, but I live in Canada, and I'm Canadian as well, global citizen. So I am the chair of the board of Civicus, and Civicus, as was mentioned, is a global alliance, and we focus on something called civic space. Now, unfortunately, I'm kind of the bearer of some not so great news, which is that all of you, everything you're hearing, all these actions, all these amazing people and activists involved in creating all of these initiatives that you're hearing about, actually their lives are often threatened. Their livelihoods are threatened. Their security is threatened. Their funding is threatened. There's legislation being passed in countries to inhibit them from doing all the amazing things that they're doing and that we need them to do in order to achieve the SDGs. So what Civicus is focused on is that what we call the civic space, denouncing those restrictions on civic space, pushing governments, pushing the UN to acknowledge that even though the discourse about civil society and people doing things is very positive, that actually on the ground we see more and more people being reprimanded and not allowed to do what they're doing. Just one stark statistic that I unfortunately have to share with you today. Environmental activists are 3 times more likely to be killed for their environmental activism than other activists. It's already bad that any activists are being killed, human rights activists, women's rights activists, but environmental activists are actually more in danger. So that needs to change in order for us to continue seeing all this activity, and that's what Civicus is focused on. We were part of an event with 200 other organizations early in the week to talk about human rights and climate rights, that human rights are climate rights, and to make sure that you can all continue doing your great work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for summing that up so quickly. Incredibly powerful work, and I think it's something that can be emulated in other communities. Finally, we head to South Sudan, a place that we recently traveled to myself. Most people don't know that as many people have died in South Sudan as parts of Syria. It's an incredibly terrible war. Lots of refugees have been impacted. Emmanuel, Justine, tell me about how My World surveys are being utilized in refugee communities. Keep going. It should be on. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. Yes, no? Ah!
Hello.
There you go.
Yeah, thanks so much. Emmanuel from South Sudan. It's a pleasure to be here. I would like to present how our footstep toward SDG in South Sudan, despite all the conflict, despite all the harsh environment, we're reaching out and spreading out the SDGs. We reach out to the schools. We reach out to our community. We have organize community events, and we also reach out to children's side. So with the SDGs in schools, so mainly we are running toward collecting the goals that are of immediate concern to the students, and also in the community we reach out to women and also knows how this the environment is affecting them and all these things. So last year we were able to collect a number of surveys with support from UNDP South Sudan, and this response were able to be incorporated in our national development strategy about the immediate goal that are of immediate concern to all the South Sudanese. So we have SDG 16 and SDG 2, which are of immediate concern, and this is what now our country is working toward is. And from the recent update of the SDGs, we're able to find that SDG 13, SDG 3, good health and well-being, and as well SDG 4, quality education, become one of the priorities. So with the children and the women we have within the community, we're able to reach and also teach them about economic freedom. So we have some sites that we feed the children with the cryptocurrency, that's Bitcoin, because we see how it is helping out the kids in South Sudan. So we gather support from across the world for people. So we're so much grateful that all these people are giving hand in, and we're working toward to make sure that this SDGs also South Sudan reach to some of the targets and the indicators. Thanks so much, and great to be here.
Guys, we are going to continue to highlight the amazing work done around the Global Week to Act for Change tomorrow at 1 p.m. It doesn't matter how big or small your action is, it all makes a massive difference. We own these goals. It's not the politicians' goals, it's our goals. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.